Hello again to this training workshop series on Eclipse Arrowhead Framework. In the sixth video, we will discuss how to deploy a service provider system in an Arrowhead Local Cloud. As we discussed earlier in the previous videos, a local cloud is essentially a localized instance of Arrowhead Framework, often tailored for specific automation tasks and provide and consume services. A service provider system is an application system with the purpose of registering a specific service or a set of specific services into the service registry and running a web server where these services are available. I will guide through the steps required to set up a service provider system in Arrowhead Local Cloud. So before deploying a service provider system, we need to download and clone the Git folders from for Service Registry, Authorization, and Orchestration core system as we discussed earlier in the previous videos. These are the core systems which we need to run a local cloud, Arrowhead-based local cloud. Then I will go through an example which we call car demo example, which is built upon a provider scheduled system. Which both of these car demo example and the provider skeleton are available at the Arrowhead Framework GitHub repository. And we see that how we can use the skeleton system to build any kind of provider system. And then we will also show that how the provider system register itself and its services into the database for the Arrowhead Local Cloud. The prerequisites for running the provider system is Java 11, Maven, and MySQL. And Arrowhead database scripts running as well, because the Arrowhead database scripts, which we discussed earlier, will generate all the tables in the database. So let's say we are running a local cloud where we have three provider systems, three core systems, which are a service registry, orchestrator, and authorization core system, and a consumer system. So the system ID for the provider core system, provider system, indoor data provider is 8, for outdoor data is 9, and energy forecast provider system is 11. Whereas the system ID for the consumer system is 10. So first we need to set up the intra-cloud authorization and interface authorization uh, rules. So these rules for the provider system are configured, and these entries are added into the database automatically when we run the provider system for the first time. So as I can show over here, when we are running a service registry, authorization system, orchestrator, and also while running these core systems, if we run a provider system, which is over here in this case is a heat provider system, we see that it's service registry. If I can run it again. So we see that the provider system is started in 2.612 seconds. The server, Tomcat server, where this provider system is available, is assigned a port 8889, and these are the services: the monitor service and sensor service. These two services are registered into the service registry, but again, because these services are already inside the service registry as an entry, it's not the first time I'm running this provider system. That's why we see an error over here that this entry is already there, already exist. For the first time, it will register a service, and every time we run it afterwards, it shows this error with already exist. And this provider system is now available into the database with its services. So here it is how it looks like inside the database. We see that These are the two tables inside the database: authorization intra-cloud and authorization intra-cloud interface connections. So the entry for the authorization intra-cloud, when we run the provider system, it will be automatically assigned service ID, and the provider systems will be assigned system IDs inside the system table and the service definition uh, over here. So we see that the here are the systems which are assigned uh, IDs, but not for the consumer system. In the next video, we will discuss about the consumer system. For the consumer system, we always have to register it inside the database manually, and also all the services it will consume and the rules it for them are also registered manually. So the first step to deploy your own provider system is to download the provider skeleton system from this link. It is the main Arrowhead framework uh, GitHub, where I can show if we go here into the client skeleton Arrowhead framework. Let's first go to Eclipse. So if we go here, and then we can go to the GitHub repository, and here we click on any of the let's say it's actually we need to go to the Eclipse server dash F to find the client skeleton repository. Here it's so now we see that we have the client skeleton for the consumer system, provider system, publisher system, and subscriber system. And here are the steps as well, an explanation what these skeletons does and how to modify them. So once we download the client skeleton from here, let's say for the provider system, it looks like this. It has three folders: controller, security, and configuration. And we need to modify the code inside this to uh, create the services and or modify the services. So I will go over the steps for modification. So we modify the provider properties and constants, and the service resources, service definition, method interface and metadata, and then customize data structure and classes and databases. And also finally, as we need a certificate for the provider system, which is in compliant with the Arrowhead local cloud instance for that. So from the cloud certificate, which was generated from the uh, master certificate, we generate a client certificate, and that client is the provider system now. So we already have gone through those steps in the previous videos. So as I showed you that in the client provider skeleton system, we under the security folder there are three files like these, and we never change or modify anything inside these files. So if we go over here again in the security, we see that these three files, and we don't need to change anything over here. Then we can add services inside the application provider listener.java file, which I can show here. So here this is the place where we add services. Just like over here, I can we can go to this car demo. So we are running a car demo example in this demo. If you go to the car demo example, which is over here, car demo provider system, main, Java, and go to the application. So here we see that we have the same code as a skeleton system, but inside this one, we have the services as well, like this. So here we have the create car service, register service into the service registry. So we see that how it works. Same thing over here. And if we are using, let's say some database, internal database, which is uh, which belongs to that provider, because Arrowhead Framework is microservice-oriented architecture where every provider system uh, should and can have its own database, which is just uh, control, monitor, and used by that particular provider system. So in that case, in the car demo system, if we go through what it does, is that in the car demo example, a car there is a car provider and a car consumer. Car consumer we will discuss in the next video. So what does these are the two services where we create a new car instance, and when we run that service with this input, we get this output. So a new car is created with the ID, brand, and color. So whereas the input is the brand and the color, and then we can also search for the returns a car list based on the given parameters. So if we give the brand or the color, then output we give all the cars which are uh, and their IDs for that brand or the color. So that's how it what it does, and these services do. So create car and get car. These are the two services which are in this uh, demo. And these are stored inside the information. Whenever you create a new car, its metadata is stored inside the database, which is being used by the provider system. So this provider.entity car.java, this is the internal database for that particular provider system. You can have your own like sensor, actuator, or anything You can have the metadata stored inside if you don't want it to be used by others inside the local cloud, other application systems. And it's just internal, then you can create similarly your own database as well. So here we have shown that how you can in the use different database functions to customize how the information is being manipulated or provided. So here is the new car create service, and that is defined inside uh, the car controller. I can show over here. So we see that all the services are get service, post service. This is the create car service. So all of them are defined, and from here we can uh, run any system, or like if we have actuator or OPCUA system, then from here we can uh, uh, from these services here we can just write the code to run that particular service, or that particular legacy system, or do some automation task over here. So this service, what will it will do? It will call that system to do whatever is needed, to whatever action is needed to be performed by that service. So in case if it's let's say if it's a temperature sensor, then what it does that if we want to get temperature, then and we run that get service over here, what it does that it will go to the one wire sensor. If it's a one wire sensor temperature sensor, then it will get the value from the one wire temperature sensor from the wherever it is located, that temperature sensor, get that value and provide over here, and then we can see that value. So here, this is the point where two different kind of technologies like become interoperable. And finally, yeah, here we see what I showed you, that you can modify different things over here, these functions, and for put, post, and get, and uh, perform the required task. And finally, the main class, which is uh, does not have much inside, is responsible for running that provider system. That's it. Thank you very much, and I hope it helps to deploy or run a new provider system for you. Thank you.